Hey, Lara here, and as part of the release of New Story by Stacey deck of cards, we are setting up a bit of a challenge within our wee team over here in New Zealand of Close to My Heart Scrapbookers. And the challenge, or the deck of cards, I've sort of got another video on my channel that you'll be able to pop over and have a look about it. But the idea is that you pull out 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 cards, and you create a layout in response to it. So it's kind of like this inspiration in a little pack. And I worked with my journey. We have got bullet points. I have got one big photo, as well as ink or paint. So you can see me here, I've grabbed one big photo, and this photo is of a pathway as part of the Hanna Forest Amble, which is where I was ambling sort of earlier or middle of last month. So the photo is just, it's a big photo. I have trimmed that down to be 8 by 8. It was sort of an A4 sized photo, but I didn't want it quite that big. You can see here that I've just got the patterned paper that I'm going to back the photo with. I wasn't sure whether to leave this on an angle or whether to line it up, and so I didn't stick them down just yet, but I will get to that a little bit later on. So this is just a scrap left over here. Also, they're both, I think, from the Cherish collection by Close to My Heart. It's got some really gorgeous soft colours, just beautiful muted tones that seem to go with almost anything. And so this paper here is from the Flower Shop collection, and it's just had those yellow flowers, and I just wanted to bring in a little bit more, I guess a little bit of a change or something different in the background there. Didn't just want a photo sitting on a piece of white daisy cardstock. So I am just playing around with that, and I wondered about cutting that extra zip strip off, but I decided that no, I'm happy with the pieces the way they are. So got that photo, got it matted, and now I'm just going to stick down this background, and I'm only sticking that second stripe part way along because I'm going to tuck that other piece that I've got there underneath, and I wanted to leave room to be able to do that. So this piece I've gone neatly down each edge of it before I stick it onto the white daisy cardstock. So I'm going to curl up the edges, but I decide I'll do that a little bit later on once I've got the photo and stuff down, so that I've got a better surface for sticking down the matted photo. These trees were gorgeous, and I just loved that look as I was looking ahead up the pathway. So the photo itself is the one big photo, so that is part of the Go challenge on the cards. And the idea of this being a bit of a journey, and when I get to do the journaling on this, I just sort of put a few bullet points about this year being quite a tough year for our family. So a few things have been going on and happening, and just thought it was worth sort of documenting in that. And I may go back later and pocket some journaling behind the photo or tuck it somewhere else on the page. But that was sort of part of that journey of this year, and sort of at this age and stage and what's happening within our family at the moment. So I'm adding in the bonus card, which is ink or paint, and I am using some Distress Oxides in behind some of the stencils that I've got, and these are meant to be card stencils, but you can see here that they can be used on a variety of different things, and I'm just moving it around because I want it sort of to peek out from behind the photograph. So again, just placing this down and checking where I need to add a bit more colour so that it does peek out from behind. So I'm going to use a couple of different stencils, and I'm going to use 3 different colours. So I'm now pulling out sort of another florally kind of stencil. You can't see the colour that I'm using, it's a little bit off screen, but I think it might be Salvaged Patina, and then there's a brighter blue. If I remember when I put together the notes at the bottom, I'll say which colours they are. But I do just love I'm pulling out some of the tones that I can see in those papers, and wanting to support the photo rather than take over it, even though it is quite a big photo and it would be hard to leave that behind. So I am just finishing off with this one, and then I'm going to use a brighter a slightly more dominant colour, but I'm going to use less of it. and you can see me in the top there where you can't see, changing that over, and now I'm going to tuck in those extra colours, but make sure they're out to the sides enough and just at a few points rather than all over like the other colours. The distress oxides are fabulous for pushing through stencils. They just seem to move and glide and leave a really nice pigmented colour behind when you've done that. So placing the photo just gives me an opportunity just to sort of to see what I need to do and where I need to go. I know that I'm going to be popping my journaling with the bullet points up sort of that top right hand side of the photo a little bit. So that's why I've left that without as much of the stencil work coming through. So now I've just sort of stuck the adhesive in behind the photo, and I'm going to be brave and stick it down. So now I need to curl up both the photo mat papers and those sort of edge pieces there, just to give that texture that I like creating on the page without too much weight and too much heaviness. I actually found this page really tricky to put together, and I think that's what I quite like about that challenge, or these 4 different cards, the Ready, Set, Go. So when I was thinking ready, I had to think about my journey and think of a photo that I might use for this. And actually when I was away in Hanma doing the walk, I was thinking as I took the photo, hey, this would be a good one to talk about the journey that we've been on lately. And I'm using here some of the green acrylic dots, and I'm going to use these as my journaling, as my bullet points. So that's part of the set card, the bullet points for my journaling. And I'm not going to pop those there, and I'm sticking with this title, and I'm just using the black chipboard alpha to write the word journey, which is it is that ready card. The title is journey, and I didn't have to use it, but it just kind of really fitted with the photo and with the journaling that I wanted to pop in there. So getting those sort of placed and choosing where I want them and getting them stuck down, which is I'm happy with that. And I've now got my just black journaling pen, and I'm going to pop down a few notes there about sort of 2020 was hard with COVID, and 2021 we had a bit of time, but actually this year's been tougher for us. COVID hadn't been a huge, apart from having to not be socialising as much, and then last year wearing masks a lot, as well as this year we had to too. Lots of things going on, and we did get COVID this year, and a few other challenges that we have been working through and continue to work through, but I have a hope, and I am able to rest in the knowledge that I'm not in control, but God is. Anyway, putting down the journaling, I'm just going to use the 3D foam tape. And the reason I'm using this is because it's going to be sticking down onto an uneven surface, and the foam tape really helps to balance out what is underneath. So I could call the layout done, but I decided to pull out my white journaling pen and do another little frame or a border around the photo. It felt a little bit like it needs to be lifted or defined a little bit more from the background. So I'm very slowly moving the pen along the photo. I printed this photo just on my Canon photo here printer here at home, and it is holding that pen line really well. I did feel I needed to go over a few spots where I perhaps went too fast. It just sort of created a couple of lines, but just it did really finish off the photo. So don't be afraid of drawing on your photos, I guess is what I'm saying with the pen there. I did trial it on the piece that I cut off the top, and it worked really well. Here are some close-ups of the finished layout, and thanks for watching. And a group of us are doing a bit of a challenge, and I'd love to see your take on these cards. If you on these the deck of cards challenge ones that we pulled out, and if you want to give it a go, that'd be great, and I'd love to be linked up or for you to share what you've been doing. Thanks for watching.